Muy buenos días a todos y a todas los asistentes. Estamos muy contentos de que estén todos con nosotros hoy. Mi nombre es Francisca Contreras, soy parte del equipo de negocios de Expander y los voy a acompañar durante la jornada. En un contexto marcado por la crisis sanitaria y económica que afecta al mundo, estamos convencidos que fomentar mayores oportunidades mediante el diseño de iniciativas ágiles, colaborativas y de alto impacto es más importante que nunca. Hoy estamos muy orgullosos del interés que ha despertado este desafío en todo el mundo, ya que hoy día tenemos a representantes de más de 15 países en este lanzamiento. Hoy, Tailings Challenge es una iniciativa de BHP que cuenta con el apoyo de Fundación Chile a través de nuestro programa de Innovación Abierta Minería Expande y releva la importancia de seguir contribuyendo al desarrollo de una economía más sustentable, donde exista una extensión en el uso de los recursos. Por lo tanto, en el nombre de Fundación Chile y Expande, queremos agradecer a BHP por la confianza depositada en nosotros para dar curso a este gran desafío. Antes de comenzar, les quiero recordar que pueden comentar sobre este evento en las redes sociales con el hashtag Tailings Challenge. Además, durante todo el evento pueden realizar sus preguntas en el chat que se encuentra en la pantalla y las vamos a contestar al final en una sesión de preguntas y respuestas que vamos a realizar con todos nuestros panelistas. Para comenzar, quiero entonces dejarlos con un saludo del gerente general de Fundación Chile, Marcos Culca.
Hola, muy buenos días a todos los presentes que nos acompañan esta mañana. Estamos muy contentos por esta iniciativa. Les voy a explicar un poco la razón de eso. Le agradecemos a BHP, principalmente haber confiado en Fundación Chile y su programa Expande para poder gestionar parte de este desafío. Este desafío responde a un mundo que hemos llamado en los últimos años un mundo VUCA, un mundo variable, incierto, complejo, ambiguo, en donde es muy difícil encontrar soluciones desde una sola persona, desde una sola empresa. Es por eso que este desafío, el desafío de Tailings Challenge, el desafío de los relaves, busca qué otros usos se le puede dar a este relave, desde nuevos productos, nuevos modelos de negocio, nuevas iniciativas que surjan desde estos relaves para combatir el cambio climático y la sustentabilidad de nuestro planeta y la humanidad. Lo importante de este desafío, además, es que cumple con los principios de innovación abierta, donde estas soluciones pueden venir desde cualquier lado del mundo, sean lugares de países desarrollados, de países emergentes, países mineros o no mineros, como así también de cualquier agente del mercado, desde un proveedor, un centro tecnológico, universidades o incluso de algunos clientes. Fundación Chile ha estado durante los últimos 10 años abocados al desarrollo sustentable o sostenible y al desarrollo humano, es decir, cómo de alguna forma visualizamos el futuro para poder tener un mejor vivir, un mejor bienestar, pero siempre con soluciones desde la innovación y desde la innovación abierta. En el último tiempo hemos estado desafiados con iniciativas tan importantes, por ejemplo, de cómo tener agua suficiente, cómo darle un uso más inteligente al plástico, cómo reconvertir a millones de trabajadores hacia la economía digital. Y hoy día estamos muy contentos de poder coordinar esta iniciativa de BHP que responde a los desafíos del futuro. Si nos imaginamos hoy día todas las crisis que estamos viviendo, la crisis sanitaria, la crisis de polarización global, la crisis del cambio climático, todas juntas nos desafían como humanidad y como sociedad. Es indudable que el sector minero es especialmente crítico para nuestra economía, pero además no solamente por su tamaño, no solamente porque representa un porcentaje importante del PGB, sino porque en los últimos años también ha sido parte de los sectores que ha dado una visión de futuro para el país. Desde la reutilización de agua, desde la utilización de energías renovables no convencionales, desde capacitar también a muchos de sus trabajadores hacia esta nueva economía. Por lo tanto, hoy día nos encontramos muy felices de poder participar en este lanzamiento. No hay excusa para que no tengamos distintas soluciones de todos lados del mundo y que quieran participar en este desafío que no solamente nos convoca, sino que nos podría dar varias respuestas de futuro. Nuevamente agradecerle a todos los presentes, agradecerle especialmente a BHP, agradecerle al Ministerio de Minería que nos acompaña y desear éxito en esta iniciativa. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Marco, por tus palabras. Ahora también quiero dejar con ustedes un saludo muy importante que tenemos el día de hoy del ministro de Minería de Chile, Baldo Procuriza, quien también ha querido ser parte de este lanzamiento tan importante.
Estimadas amigas, estimados amigos que participan hoy día en este seminario, como ministro del presidente Sebastián Piñera, agradezco a BHP y a Fundación Chile, junto a su programa de innovación abierta Expande, por invitarme a participar del lanzamiento de la convocatoria BHP Tailings Challenge, que busca promover el desarrollo de nuevas tecnologías y modelos de negocios basados en el concepto de economía circular que permitan darle un nuevo uso a los relaves de cobre. Por medio de estas palabras, saludo a quienes participan de manera online y nos ven en Chile y en el mundo entero en esta interesante iniciativa de alcance internacional realizada entre BHP y Fundación Chile. Del mismo modo, valoro que esta convocatoria apunte a destacar el rol clave que desempeñan proveedores, empresas, startups, universidades, centros de investigación y consorcios en el desarrollo de soluciones disruptivas y nuevos modelos de negocios que permitan a la minería ser más sustentable, competitiva en el tiempo. Asimismo, felicito a quienes impulsan este programa, pues incorpora el concepto de economía circular y de esta forma nos permite confrontar la idea de quienes plantean erróneamente y en forma insistente que la minería solo es una actividad extractiva y que no aporta al cuidado del medio ambiente. Precisamente, la economía circular presenta desafíos y oportunidades para la actividad minera en nuestro país. Su aplicación contribuye a una mayor eficiencia hídrica y energética, como también transitar hacia una actividad con menos residuos que incorpore y promueva la reutilización y reciclaje de relaves, relleno de rajos y minas subterráneas, además de la rehabilitación y revegetación de depósitos de residuos, entre otros. En los últimos años, hemos sido testigos que la minería nacional está dando pasos concretos para convertirse en una actividad más verde que promueva la eficiencia energética, hídrica y la reducción de la huella ambiental. Además, ha sumado metodologías para medir la trazabilidad de sus metales en el marco de la cadena de suministro o abastecimiento responsable de estos. En esta línea, valoro la puesta en marcha de proyectos como el denominado cobre trazable de Codelco o el anuncio realizado hace algunas semanas por el Consejo Minero de dar a conocer a partir de este año el nivel de emisiones de gases de efecto invernadero de cada una de las 14 empresas socias y sus metas individuales de reducción. Esta acción es muy importante, pues se trata de un compromiso que la gran minería chilena se está autoimponiendo. Si bien sabemos que es un paso complejo de cumplir, habla bien de las acciones que esta industria está tomando, por lo que estas medidas evidencian una manera de mostrar trazabilidad al mundo entero en forma responsable. En el marco de esta actividad que nos convoca, deseo destacar que tanto la eficiencia en el uso de los recursos hídricos como el fomento de las energías limpias son dos pilares fundamentales en el trabajo del Ministerio de Minería y las empresas del sector. En este sentido, en los últimos 2 años ha habido una cantidad extraordinariamente importante de licitaciones de energía renovable por parte de las empresas de la gran minería. Es decir, la minería que consume casi 1/3 de la energía eléctrica que se produce en el país, y aquí estamos transitando de forma radical de consumir energías generadas con carbón, con combustibles fósiles, consumos que son de verdad muy importantes, a energías renovables. Eso tiene un tremendo peso. En este contexto, a la fecha, las empresas de la gran minería del cobre han incorporado y licitado 13 terawatts hora al año. Esto significa que vamos a incorporar a la producción de la minería chilena una cantidad histórica en materia de energía renovable. La mayoría de estos contratos de energía comenzarán a regir de entre este año y el 2023, por lo que el 45% del consumo eléctrico de este sector en 3 años más será suministrado por fuentes renovables. En este sentido, quiero destacar a BHP, que apunta a que un 100% de sus energías renovables en el año 2025. Reutilización del agua e
Diesel plants made by Codelco. And currently, we have plants that have been utilizing 6% and others seawater. 24% of the water volumes that will be used by the mining companies. These advances that I have talked about are part of the initiative that we have been pushing forward. And this is something that we have developed years ago for COP25. And this is a commitment that we have opted for. And that will be one of the first mining companies that is from 2018. 4 plants are being developed and with the photovoltaic. And next year, it will get to 100%. Once Paipotebanta is established. We will avoid issuing over 300,000 tons of CO2. In summary, all these measures and steps forward that we have been talking about, we wish that they will continue and we will be strengthening them so as to become a sustainable society. I need to point out that the effects on climate change are main concern. And we're trying to develop economic activities that will mitigate the impact on the environment. And in one of the focus on development, in the development will be more, will be friendlier with the environment. And we have a unique vision, and this initiative has different measures. In the management of the abandoned tailings dam, an elaboration of the programs that fosters the monitoring of these tailings dams. And the first is in the safety of the population. And each of these 3 areas has an action plan. And we are right now we're trying to look for a system and a law system and technology companies will present their solutions. I would like to point out that this challenge is for companies, startups, universities, and all institutions. It's a call for everyone to come together, to work together, and so at least we can get to the best results possible and avoid the emissions on the environment. I would like to thank BHP Chile for inviting me for this initiative, to do the opening of this initiative. We should not lose sight that mining is fundamental for the development of the country, following health criteria and also environment, the respect for the environment. Mining will give us a lever so as to move forward and for the generation of employment, because mining has never failed Chile. Thank you, Minister, for your words. And the words of the authorities, we would like to start with our great challenge. We will now connect with Brian Quinn, the joint venture president in BHP. He's a mining engineer. And good morning, Brian. Are you there?
Hi there, it's Brian Quinn, the Asset President for Non-Operated Joint Ventures. I'm proud sponsor of this Tailings Challenge on behalf of BHP. I've been working with the resource sector for nearly 30 years and very proud of what we've achieved and how we've evolved and on the benefit of all stakeholders. But I also want to ensure we set up our industry to be sustainable in the future through the use of innovation, technologies, and also with the benefit of providing social value to the communities surrounding the operations. As our industry continues to grow and to support the economies such as Chile, this will put more pressure on how we deal with tailings and waste and water. And we're looking for integrated solutions that can actually provide opportunities for our industry. So we have a bright future, and we're looking for very bright people to really work with us on providing these solutions. Obviously, the opportunity is these solutions can provide an integrated, both from how we explore to how we mine to how we process to how we actually store our waste. And this project is very, very important for our businesses globally. Look, in terms of when the world is changing so fast, is fundamental to our industry, and we need to find new ways of doing things. We need to not just continue to do small incremental changes, but we need to change the way we do things holistically, and we must move to a more sustainable. We must move to a more sustainable economy where there is an extension in the use of resources. We also need to evolve to another stage of improvement and find both disruptive, sustainable, and broader solutions. And that just means that we don't just continue on the small incremental change, but we really stand back and think about things very, very differently to set our industry up for future generations and for future prosperity for all involved. So what is BHP's role? Obviously, we believe we need to find sustainability is a one-way road to get to our solutions. In the last 15 years, we've taken key steps to move to a sustainable operation. We have focused on water. We've stopped the use of extraction of Monterrey aquifer, and now we are 100% supplied from our desalination plant. From an energy point of view, we actually have targets by 2025 for Spence and Escondida to be supplied with 100% renewable power. So our next step is focusing on waste management, which is fundamental, introducing new technology and innovation in a collaborative approach to bring the best to the table. We need to contribute to a sustainable economy and bring people and resources together to actually ensure that we have all the right actions in place. So we have made good progress improving the current tailings management processes and mitigating controls by introducing technologies. We've improved monitoring systems, we've improved training, we've improved the standard of engineering applied to our industry. However, we still have much, much more to do, and that's why we are here on this tailings challenge. We need to evolve to another stage of improvement. We need to find different ways of doing things. We need to actually change the way we are going to win this game. And we need to look for technical and commercial solutions to how we repurpose the use of tailings. We believe introduction of technology and innovation will be a key solution to get there. And we believe our end goal has to be done in a sustainable way. And that's why we're looking for people who can bring these solutions to the industry, different stakeholders, different backgrounds, different industries who can look at this problem and say, here's a solution for the mining industry to consider. We want to bring a sustainable economy, and we want to bring people together, resources together to find how we can transform tailings into the future for our industry. So I thank you very, very much for being part of this process and being part of this challenge we have. And I really look forward to working with the various groups to progress through the challenge to see how we can actually deliver this repurposing of tailings for our industry. And on behalf of BHP, once again, I want to thank you for your contributions in taking on this approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. As many of you know, this challenge is an agile process. So therefore, we think that in no more than 2 years, we will be able to implement those solutions. Only through collaborative work, we will achieve that at that pace. That's why we want you to participate. I would like to remind you that all questions should be sent by the screen, and we will be talking about these questions. We will be translating them. I would also like to excuse for the inconveniences that we've had with technology. We will continue. Now, with further detail on the stages of the process, I would like to offer the floor to Andrzej Mitnik. He will present how this will be carried out. Thank you, Francisca. Thank you, everyone, for those that have connected today. This is an effort that is just starting, and we have been doing many things. There are multiple institutions that have been working with us in the process. I would like to thank everyone for that. I would like to tell you what Expand is about. BHP trusted us to carry this out. And I will tell you about the details of the whole process. Expande is a platform that is projecting agile solutions, and that's why we have different ways of doing it. We fundamentally exist because there is a gap between the industry and natural resources and mining and the ecosystem of innovation. We know innovation is randomly appears in multiple places, in startups, in small and mid-sized companies, large corporations. So it's very difficult for an industry that is highly focused in their business to see innovation. So that's why we're there. We want to close the gap. We want to present challenges, multiple challenges. So this is a great challenge. And We do technology transfers and other methodologies. Our mentality is to fall in love with the problem. Find a problem, fall in love with it, and start looking for solutions, different types, different ways of solving that problem. And with innovation, of course. Our challenge, present general information. And what we are doing is to try to see what we have to find, how we can find that. And I also need to give a detail. I'm to comparing things that are and we want to go beyond that, go for diversity. For those that don't know us, we have a webpage, expandemineria.cl, and you will find all the challenges there. In Expande, these are smaller, and we have 60 or 70 a year. They're all opportunities for the vendors. They're bringing down the barriers for the industry. Technology, we are open for development, and it is always a channel, an entry channel for mining. So that's why I would like to invite you all to see our page and see the opportunities that we have. I would like to comment on the results. 19 mining operations. And in the last 2 years, we have over 100 contracts, $23 million, some pilots, and we have been working with startups and it's reduced number. And we have raised $8 million. So we have experience in innovation, in capital increase, and we have been working in mining industries, adding value, of course. Focusing on the challenge that we have today. This is a major challenge, and it is a special challenge, and it will take us 22 months. However, for the scale and the ambition is not much. That's why we want to do it in a collaborative way with an innovation system. So we want you to help us solve the problems that we are having. The objective at the end of the day is to solve a complex problem, which is reutilizing tailings, copper tailings. It could be a technology chain, maybe not one unique technology will be applicable here. You might be wanting to process, to extract, and then we will have a sub-product left at the tailings dam. So the challenge is not looking for technology. We're looking for a business model. We have a sustainable economy focus, and we're looking for that. We're looking for a combination of technology and business acumen, able to go towards a sustainable economy. So we want to go for an industry to reutilize tailings. So this is the main objective, and BHP is pioneering this and is facilitating the process, of course. As I was saying, the challenge will take 22 months, and it will be divided in 4 stages. We have the first stage launched today, which is the call. That will take 2 months. We will go into detail. And then we have a proof of concept, and that is up to 10 that will be selected for this proof of concept. In the proof of concept, will be evaluated, and it will go to a site test. 3 of the 10 that will go through that, and in March 2023, we'll be announcing the winners. Then the 4th stage is scaling, and we have it implemented in the process. In the stage, we have solutions that will tackle the problem. So what they need to show us is to see, well, how we're going to be facing this challenge from the intake of the tailings up to the end user of those tailings. In this stage, we will not be so strict with the business models, and we will not leave an idea out. We might have highly technical teams. And in this stage, we would like to ask you to have a notion, to tell us why what you're saying might have a market effect, and show a holistic view of the challenge. If you don't have that holistic view, you're still welcome. But tell us how you think you will be tackling those areas that are missing. This is a chain of technology. So as a technology chain, we have early stage, late stage, and the only thing that we have in our hands is that we need to have starting point at TRL2 onwards. We need to have a scientific base to prove that. And we have a stage of scaling. And at the end of the 22 months, we will be very close to coming out to the market. The objective is to generate an industry that will be transforming tailings, and that will be, or has to be done in 22 months. Lastly, we will have a community, a full community, and that community will allow you to get to know each other, and of course, apply, go for that challenge, and we will be generating that community, so you will get to know each other. You might find partners, and this will be from around the world. We understand that a company in Chile having a partner in Canada or elsewhere in the world, it will be very difficult, but we will help you with that. Up to 10 teams will be chosen to go to the proof of concept. In the proof of concept, you will be getting funds of $50,000 so as to carry out the activities you're proposing. That funding might not be sufficient. We hope that the teams will gather the rest of the money needed, and Expande is also willing to support you in that process. You will get a sample of the tailings from the site that we will be working on, and you will have 6 months to do all your activities once you receive the samples. We hope that process in April 2021. What we want to see are promising results that will indicate that it's worth it to move forward towards an on-site test. We want to see all your tests, lab tests, how you will be scaling in technology, and try to have a clear, fine-tuned business model. So if we don't have anyone with an MBA or a commercial perspective, well, at the end of this stage, you will be needing one. And yes, in this stage, we will be evaluating what is the economic feasibility for that. That will allow the teams to grow. And in this proof of concept, you will be adding new members to your team. And if there's potential, you might even merge 2 teams. You will be able to see great flexibility, because we want to move beyond. And we want to have the best solution possible. All the communications will be intellectual property is not being asked by BHP. Intellectual property will be, or copyright will be yours, At the end of the proof of concept, we want to choose up to 3 teams that will be the on-site pilot, and that will take 18 months. We hope the teams will mobilize, will go to an operation where BHP will be assigning, and you will be able to show on-site what you have been presenting. The teams that have reached this stage will get additional funding, $300,000 from BHP, so as to carry out these activities. We know this industrial test will be beyond that. So in Expande, we will give you all support so as to raise the funds for that gap. We will be moving capital from venture capital. We will have different investments, and we will contact you with potential investors. So we will support you on anything you might need whenever necessary. At the end of the 22 months, we hope that will be by March 2023, we will be announcing the winner or winners, and they will get the $8.6 million. This final funding will be utilized for scaling. This is an initial stage to start the business of reprocessing or retransforming tailings. In this stage, BHP will not ask for exclusivity. So if you develop a business model that will allow to be transferred to other operations with tailings, whether it is copper or any other type of tailings, welcome, do so. This is a first client, but not the end of the story. So what are we looking for, and who is invited to participate? Everyone, companies, startups, consortiums, universities, research centers. We doubt that one entity has it all. So we're looking for a collaborative effort. We want different people from different areas coming together, trying to look for a solution. No one is too small or too big to participate. So what do you need? Well, have a holistic view of the problem, a proposal on how you will be tackling this, and we hope that technology will be transferred to other operations. How are we going to account for all the elements? As tons of copper, and also a business plan, logistics. It's a complex issue. And to have a strategy, a scaling strategy. We want to see execution capacity, a solid scientific and technology base, a clear value proposal, and a business experience. This is not only technology, it's technology plus business. I will go now to community. Community, BHP Tailings Channel Community, is a semi-public collaboration group. You need to have a username and a password, which would be the same username and password that you will be using to apply. Once in the system, you will be able to share your information with the others. It's semi-public because not everyone can access. You need to log in, and the information you will be sharing, contact info, ideas, but not confidential information because everyone will be able to see that. So this is only a space to get to know each other and find potential partners. The community needs to, you need to log into the community, same password, same username for everything on the challenge and everything that has to do with Expande. Once you come into the community, you will see this. And this is the first one we created. We tested multiple boxes, and you will see on the right the contact info. What am I bringing in to this table? We would like to invite you to use tags, keywords, and we have to give support. And also get involved with the community. And it's a unique opportunity to get to know each other in the global network. Thank you. Thank you, Andres, for your presentation. Hopefully, you will be clear about this, and we will continue to a more technical area of the challenge and trying to prepare the proposals. We have received questions. Please keep writing your questions. We have a moderator that is receiving all the questions. And if we haven't answered any of your questions during the presentation, we will pick up those questions and we will take them to the end. Now, to get all the technical details, we have Jerónimo Kovacevic, Tailings Practice Lead from BHP. Thank you, Francisca. Good morning, everyone. To give you a technical context on this, I would like to show you what we do in the industry with tailings. Those that are not familiar with processing. And I will show you technical information regarding specific tailings that we want to use for the contest. As you all know, tailings are stored in tailings dams. And these are in a tailing dam, and in accordance to the Canadian definition, a dam is a barrier built to contain water with different components, with different substances, fluid, residues, or tailings. The dams are designed and operated differently from the ones that we already know. The term has no specific definition. However, there are some references that say that there are one or many dams to store residual material from a mining process. Main differences between a tailings dam and a conventional dam is the purpose. Tailings dam is to contain solids from a mining process, chemicals and process water, and they are stored as slurry or muds. Conventional dams, they are used for hydroelectric power generation and for pumping water. In the case of tailings, it's solid and liquid, and in the conventional, it's only water. The difference is in design and construction, because design and construction is dynamic. It's built with a startup or starting dam, and is growing as it's being developed. Also increasing the volume processed by the concentrator plant. The structures are maintained for years and they are preserved. Then they are closed. Conventional dams are made and they're filled to their maximum, and at the end of their life, they could be decommissioned and removed. Construction material in the tailings dams are earth material, sands, up to rocky material for contention. conventional. They are made with concrete or rock. The right, we see two pictures on the top. Is the tailings dam from Minera Escondida. This is a dam that is used from borrowings. At the right, we have tailings from the three concentrators of the operation. The one below is the Hoover Dam, is in Colorado, the United States, and it was built in the 30s. It has water for the power supply to nearby cities, and is also used as a water reservoir. The life cycle of the tailings dam. We have a site selection and the design of the dam. The dams are near the mine operation so as to reduce transportation costs, and is built some years before starting operating. It is used during the whole operation of the mine, and is grown in stages. These stages go in line with the production volume of the mine. These dams are in operation during the whole life of the mine. And if not, if they are filled or the volume has reached a top, it is they go for another one. Then they go to a closure stage, and that is from the operation with active maintenance. They need to be managed in an adequate way. And geochemistry is managed regarding the dam and material. And then we go for a passive stage. And in that passive stage, we do final closure or definite closure. We cover the dams with earth material. We do in some occasions revegetation of the area, and we end up with the surface similar to the surrounding surface. Now, regarding the tailings that are going to be used in this context, the characteristic of these tailings is from reprocessing of copper. And this is one of our operations around the world. We have 50 million tons a year production, and the material is produced and comes out of the concentrator as slurry with a solid content of 40%, more or less, in a range of 38 to 42. And the particle size is fine material, as you're able to see. It's a P80 of 110 microns, and it has a high content of fine, mine below mesh 200, and that is 70% of the solids. It has clay content, significant clay content from 0 to 25%. Among those are expensive clays as kaolinite and montmorillonite. Regarding the geochemical aspects of the material, this comes out of the concentrator with a pH 7 that is neutral, and it has a potential to generate acidity. This is due to the high amount of sulfide in the material. In mineralogical terms, the tailings have a 30 to 90% silicates, carbonates from 2 to 85 or 84%, sulfites up to 40%, sulfites up to 10%, and iron oxide up to 8%. This is a tailing that is produced at a copper concentrator, and greater details on the technical features of this material will be made known as you move forward in the process. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jerónimo, for all these details, the technical details that will be helping the participants very much, and preparing the proposals. Considering the issues that we had at the beginning, Brian would like to comment again some of the things that were not heard. So please, Brian.
Thank you. Just to reinforce from earlier, as you can see, this is a massive opportunity in terms of how we do things differently as an industry. And we want the most brilliant people out there working with us to find solutions for BHP and for the industry. And we want to challenge, we want to create a very disruptive set of ideas that can really change the course of how we deal with tailings into the future. So we welcome you, we really encourage diverse views, diverse industries, and really challenge how we can take the next step forward. As I said earlier, this is not about incremental small improvements. We are doing those and the industry is progressing very, very well. This is about how we change the way we do things for the future. This is about setting a new sustainable set of guidelines on how to repurpose the use of tailings. We want this to be best in class for all stakeholders and hopefully some value creation for society that comes as part of the outcome as well. So please bring your technical and commercial solutions and let's work together on making this a step change for the industry. So I'll pass it back to Francisca for questions from the groups.
Muchas gracias, Brian. Bueno, vamos a comenzar ahora entonces con la sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Vamos a poder conversar ahora entonces con Brian, Andrés y Jerónimo. Vamos a ir resolviendo todas las preguntas que fueron escribiendo ustedes a lo largo de toda el lanzamiento. Vamos a cambiar ahora el idioma inglés y vamos a realizar todas las preguntas en inglés, así que los que necesiten la traducción van a poder seguir escuchando en español. So, we're going to start with the questions. I think that maybe we can start with the questions about the process, so it's a little bit easier. So for Andrés, how do we access to the community?
Okay, thank you, Francisca. To access the community, you can go to www.tailingschallenge.com. That's the official web page of the challenge. And there you will find a link that says join the community that will drive you to the community webpage. There you need to create a username and a password. As I said before, that's a single username and password for all expanding related activities. So it's the same one you will use for your submission or to participate in another expanded challenge. And there you log in and you start uploading your information and looking at everyone else. So basically go to www.tailingschallenge.com, and from there on you will be able to find your way towards the community.
Thank you. So now, can apply to the challenge a natural person or must be a formal company?
We expect formal companies to apply to the challenge, basically because the final objective is to create this industry of repurposing tailings. So the objective is that by the end of the 22 months process, an entity can actually engage in a commercial agreement with BHP to develop this business. And for that, you need to be a company, or you need to be kind of a legal entity, not a single person. Single persons may be part of teams. That's more than welcome. But whoever is representing the team needs to be a legal entity.
Okay, thank you. So, and what about the grants? Are a free use? They can use it in wherever they want. For example, the first grant of $50,000.
Those grants are to be focused on performing the activities that you have described. As I said before, we have flexibility. So if you kind of follow a technical hypothesis that then you want to shift and do other tests that you didn't mention before, you can ask for permission, and perhaps that could be granted. But all those grants at any of the stages are meant to be used exclusively for the BHP Tailings Challenge, not for anything else. How you spend it, though, we can be flexible about that, and we can have that discussion. We're open to that. But are for the challenge, are aimed to provide funding to the teams for uses to be related to the challenge.
Thank you. And it's already available, the platform?
The platform is going online as soon as we finalize this launch. So yes, it's already, the landing is already ready, and the community and the webpage to submit your application will be unveiled just as we finalize the launch.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna switch to some questions for Brian, for example. Brian, what are BHP goals for repurposing tailings in terms of volume reduction of tailings compared with valorization?
So our goal is to achieve maximum repurposing of tailings. Obviously, various tailings dams are certain sizes now, but if you look at many operations, and if we could extract directly from the concentrators the tailings and redirect them into other sort of repurposed opportunities, that would be ideal. So we aren't limiting the size in terms of the opportunity. Obviously, the more the better that could be repurposed on behalf of the various assets.
Okay, thank you. And I think that maybe this is for everyone, but the one that wants to answer. What is the minimum amount of tailings that they must to be repurposed for this challenge?
Thank you, Francisca. The amount of tailings, we expect the proposals to process a significant part of the tailings. We don't expect to process all of them, but certainly that will be part of the evaluation. So the bigger portion of the tailings that you can reprocess, the better.
Okay, thank you. And Jerónimo, we will go on with you about another technical question. So, what is the water to solid split of the tailings?
As I explained it before, the solid concentration of the tailings is 40%. That is out of the concentrator, and then it is deposited in a regular conventional tailings facility. So then it settles and consolidates in a more solid form. It can be extracted from there. So basically, if you're thinking of processing a drier slurry, you can think of the concentration as high as a density of about 1.6 tons per cubic meter of dry tailings.
Okay, thank you. And the last question for you, I think, is Tailings Dam in use? Is active right now?
The Tailings Dam is active right now. It is expected to be operating throughout this challenge. So it will keep operating. It is operating now, and it will keep operating after we're done with the challenge.
Okay, thank you,
Francisca. If you allow me to comment on that, I didn't mention before. We're talking about fresh tailings. This is the consolidated tailings in the pond are outside of the scope. The challenge regards to fresh tailings, just for everyone to be aware.
Thank you, Andres. And so we will. Some people are making some questions about the presentation. We're gonna send all the presentations, and I think that we're gonna put it in our webpage also, so you don't have to worry for this information. Okay, so more questions. How BHP will support us during the Tailings Challenge process to encourage cooperation instead of competition among participants?
Okay, so that's a good question. Of course, different teams are going to be competing against each other, but we are going to be steering the whole process, and we're going to have visibility of everything that's going on. So the first step in cooperation is the community, where before you actually submit your applications, you are able to identify potential partners from all around the world. And that's for us is a first step of collaboration. Then, as we see what different teams are doing, we can perhaps suggest some introductions. So if we see that there are two highly complementary teams that are not really competing among each other, but are complements, we will probably suggest to meet, to share ideas and see if you guys want to merge or want to transform this into a single idea. Also, if someone is left out of the proof of concept, so don't make it to the proof of concept stage, because perhaps you only have one component of the technology and weren't able to identify a partner, and we see that would be a great complement for teams participating in the proof of concept, we would also facilitate those introductions. I would say that's kind of the collaborative approach that we're going to take.
Okay, Andres, and to continue with you, some questions about the process. For example, it's better if we have a Chilean partner.
So as Expande, one of our missions is to develop the local innovation ecosystem around mining. But that doesn't mean only locals. That also means bringing knowledge from abroad. You don't need a local partner to submit an application. So just to be clear, it's not necessary. We're very confident, though, that as you move throughout the process, you will actually look for some local content, because that's going to help you. We're not forcing you, but we know that will happen. And that's why we also have the community, because we plan to foster those interactions, and we could perhaps leave the community open further in the process for teams that don't have local partners to identify local partners. But to submit an application, you don't need a local partner. You will probably look for one afterwards.
And Andres, it's required a legal document to apply it as a consortium?
What we need is kind of the letters of commitment. So every institution participating in the consortium, we're going to ask to upload a letter of commitment, committing to participate in this consortium. And if you are kind of including lab facilities or research facilities, also describing what are they bringing to the consortium. So what's the kind of facility they're bringing in? That's all that's needed, not more than that. Of course, afterwards, there are going to be MOUs, and there are going to be a document signed with BHP to the transfer of funds, and also to make safe any kind of intellectual property. But those are going to come later in the process.
And the last question for you: can one team submit more than one application?
Yeah, that could actually be the case. If you guys have two ideas or two kind of technology hypotheses and want to show it in two ways, that's totally fine. Don't expect probably to move on to the proof of concept with your both proposals. That would be kind of strange. Could happen though, but I don't foresee it. But yeah, you're welcome. If you want to provide more than one submission because you have several technical hypotheses, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. So we have a larger question, so I'm gonna read it. It is possible if they can summarize the most important concerns that BHP wants to be addressed with ideas and solutions. Will PYMEs or small business be acceptable candidates for participation, or should they be part of some kind of partnership or association with bigger companies?
Maybe I can answer the first part of the question, and then Andre, the second part of the question. In terms of the first part of the question, we are looking for ideas for how to take the tailings and repurpose them into other useful products in society. Obviously, there's a lot of technology and innovation around selective ore mining, on making sure the industry selects the ore and leaves waste behind in the ground. There's a lot of technologies around how to process the ore and how to thicken tails and even how to stack tails, which is all around safety processes. And there's also a lot of work around how to monitor tailings very, very effectively and safely. And what we're looking at really is the back end of the overall process, which is once the tails is there, how do we actually repurpose them for a better cause that can be used in society? So that's kind of the, if you want to call it the scope we're looking at here, which is really at the end of the process. So Andres, do you want to talk about the consortiums?
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. So the consortiums, you will be more competitive if you are part of a proposal that has a comprehensive or an holistic approach on the problem. You will be less competitive if you only address specific parts of this value chain. As I said before, the idea is that you think of the whole process. Now, that being said, if throughout the process and engaging with the community, you are not able to identify the partners to have this comprehensive approach, submit your application anyway. We're going to look at it. And as I said before, if your contribution to the value chain is great, we are going to see if one of the selected teams want to include it. So don't bias yourself because of your size or because where you are. Make your best effort to be part of a comprehensive proposal. But as I said in the beginning, we don't want any good idea left behind in this process. We want to see all good ideas. We know this is a big challenge. We know this is complex. So we want all the bright minds there. And if one bright mind is not able to find a partner, we can try and help with that. Don't be discouraged.
Okay, and Andres, can you tell us how will we resolve IP protection during sharing the information in the community and in the challenge, please, and the difference between these two stages?
Totally, that's a very good question. So as I mentioned, in the community, information is what we call semi-public. Semi-public because you need a user and a password to see the information, but once you're inside, you can see all the information. So no confidential information should be uploaded to the community webpage, because basically you are putting your confidential information out for all members to see. That's one part. The submission and the challenge process on the other, IP protection will be protected by NDAs. So the teams that start to move forward in the challenge will be required to sign these type of documents, MOUs, NDAs, as I said before, to make sure that all the IP is safe, it's guarded, and you can be confident that whatever you're sharing with BHP through Expande is going to be treated in a confidential manner, and there will be no problems with that. But just to clarify, that's different from the community. So the community is semi-public. Don't put anything confidential. During the challenge, every information is going to be treated as confidential, and we're going to sign documents to support it.
Thank you. And the last question for you, I think, during the first stage of the challenge, how the people can validate technology? It's only based on their scientific background?
Okay, so if we're talking first stage on the open call, definitely. There is a section for you to let us know the state of the art that supports your proposal. And that's the way you're going to validate that information. We're going to look to it, of course, and perhaps we might reach you back and ask you for some additional support information if we think that's needed. If the first stage is you're talking about the proof of concept, in the proof of concept, there are several things you might do. We call them activities, but it can be lab tests, it can be development of prototypes, it can be perhaps a bigger test. Any of those are acceptable as a way to demonstrate that you are scaling your technology and that your technology is promising enough to move to the later stage, which is the on-site test. So again, we call that activities because we do not want to bias anything. It doesn't need to be a lab test. We're open for you to tell us what you need to do to improve your solution.
Thank you, Andres. And another question. BHP is looking to externalize the treatment of the tailings, or the idea is that BHP can operate with a technological proposal?
Brian, do you want to address that? Or however you want.
Yes, so I think good question. I think ultimately once we've defined a solution that is going to be successful at the back end of the process, it's our view that we would apply that to certain operations to assess the viability, and then hopefully that can be expanded to other operations and hopefully to the industry as well to get the benefit in the long term.
Thank you, Ryan. So I think that this is for you too. What solutions for this challenge have you used before, and why have they not fully worked?
The solution in terms of using crowdsourcing, or the solution for repurposing tailings?
I think that they must be talking about repurposing tailings.
Look, I think tailings have been, over the last couple of decades, tailings dams have been established, and obviously as operations have grown, so has the tailings. So there hasn't been a lot of work that we're aware of done on really trying to look at repurposing in total. The focus has been on making sure dams are built and made safe and sustainable for the future. So effectively, this is, I guess, a new approach to thinking about tailings, a new approach to thinking about what we can do with tailings to possibly use in the broader societies. And that's why we're looking for a disruptive approach, a step change. We're not looking incremental. We're not just building on small improvements that have been made in taking tailings and maybe reprocessing and taking the grade and reselling. We're looking at holistically saying we have this much material coming out of our facilities. How do we take that and do something completely different with it, repurpose it for a commercial opportunity?
And another question that is related is, what is the principal focus of the challenge? It's like on water recovery or mineral reprocessing, or type of new technologies like develop new materials?
The key outcome we're looking for is how to take the tailings and repurpose. So if some groups can identify ways of reprocessing and extracting minerals, that's great. If that reduces the capacity of tails that are in these waste dams, if groups come up with taking this material and making other commercial opportunities out of it, That's also great. Our purpose is really to say, we have this tailings being produced. How do we take that tailings and do something else with it rather than storing it in tailings dams and taking away that the long-term sort of proposition of having tails stored and then having to do something with it in the future. So it's up to the various consortiums on what options they come up with, whether it's reprocessing, whether it's repackaging, or any sort of form of repurposing that can be used that gives a commercial benefit and is scalable.
Thank you, Ryan. So I think that we are going to the last question. Maybe for Andres, I think, is Fundación Chile putting up funds into this, and how are they will benefit?
Okay, before answering that question, I'm going to make a small comment about a previous one about if is BHP taking the business of repurposing tailings or expect someone else to do it. The answer is someone else. This challenge is opening the opportunity to create an industry out of repurposing tailings. It's not the role of a mining company to do that. Mining companies get rocks off the ground and process them. So it's for a third party to do so, and that's why we have such a big grant at the end of the process to work as probably the initial funding for the company that we expect to repurpose tailings and perhaps do it in several different sites. Coming back to the question about Fundación Chile, Fundación Chile it's an entity that has several arms. We are not committed in advance to provide funding for this process. All the grants right now are coming from BHP. We do have a venture capital in-house, the Clean Fund, and of course, Clean is going to be part of the network that we're going to connect teams to their fundraising activities. But Clean will act as a regular venture capitalist. We'll look at the proposals and might say yes or no based on their portfolio and their interest and the proposal. Clean do have an interest in mining. They have several investments in mining technology. But as I said before, there's no previous commitment. It's just something that we have in-house in another open innovation area.
Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Jerónimo, for answering all these questions. And just to everyone knows that we're going to take all the remaining questions and we're going to put it in the fax sessions, stage from the platform. So, and also you can do more questions in the Q&A that it's already available on the platform. And thank you so much. We have almost 600 people looking at this launch. We're really happy. And please apply from starting today until August 21. It's open now in tailingschallenge.com. Remember to sign up in our community and find your new potential partners and improve your proposals. And please don't miss the opportunity to be part of this great challenge. Thank you so much. You have a nice day.